We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. Remember, a defeat does not mean we are defeated. We lost this battle. The America of your dreams is calling for you to get back up.
Those were the words from U.S. President Joe Biden today after Donald Trump's victory. Meanwhile, the president-elect has named Susie Wiles, the manager of his victorious campaign, as his White House chief of staff. She would be the first woman to ever hold the influential role. Reaction from Americans on the win is still rolling out, while Democrats are picking up the pieces. Today, Americans are still reacting to the results of the election.
What I can say is buckle up, because it's going to be a wild 4 years.
Personally okay with the results of the election.
I think we're going to be fine. I think, I'm not happy about Donald Trump being president, but I am confident that we have enough people in this country that have sense to keep him within boundaries.
As Democrats pick up the pieces following Donald Trump's decisive victory, some Harris backers are expressing frustration with Biden's decision to remain in the race until this past summer. Despite voter concerns about his age and unease about post-pandemic inflation, his decision to wait until just 100 days before Election Day is a move that his Democratic critics say all but sealed his party's surrender of the White House.
President Biden believes that he made the right decision when he decided to step aside and immediately endorsed the vice president. And you saw the party come behind her, support her, and he believed it was the right thing for the American people. He put himself aside. This was not about him.
Meanwhile, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said they're committed to a peaceful, successful transition to the incoming Trump administration.
The Secretary has appointed Ambassador Stephen Mull, a distinguished member of the State Department family, to coordinate these efforts on behalf of the department. Ambassador Mull will work with the president-elect's team to ensure as successful a transition as possible.
But now that Trump has been elected to lead the country, what will happen with the president-elect's criminal cases? Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, and he's expected to be sentenced next month.
Right, I'm told that his legal team is going to try to make sure that sentencing never happens. As we know, their usual strategy is always to just try to get things delayed. But here they're going to argue to the judge that the sentencing should never happen because now that Trump is president-elect, they will say that he is entitled to the same constitutional protections as a sitting president and should be protected from state actors, and in this case, state prosecutors.
Special counsel Jack Smith is evaluating how to wind down the 2 U.S. federal cases against Donald Trump before the president-elect takes office. Smith charged Trump last year with plotting to overturn the results of the 2020 election and illegally hoarding classified documents at his Florida estate. Trump has said as recently as last month he would fire Smith within 2 seconds of taking office. Meanwhile, Trump's team has been quietly preparing to detain and deport migrants on a large scale. According to reports, they were discussing what a mass deportation plan would look like while the former president was still on the campaign trail. Early talks have focused on removing undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes. Also, how to handle immigrants who were brought in as children. They're known as dreamers and have protection under an Obama-era program. In terms of Trump's deportation plan, an ex-ICE official says,
under the current legal framework, with the current resources that are allocated to ICE, he can get nowhere near the kind of numbers he's been talking about, 1 million deportations in a year. I think just to put this in perspective, during the biggest years of the Trump administration, ICE deported 267,000, individuals from the United States. So you got to quadruple that.